What was the incident in your high school? I went to a private school where you weren't allowed to have your phone on you. One day the vice principal bursts into a classroom and says in a panic, "Quick, I need to use someone's phone." 10 kids got detention and their phones confiscated. Screw you, Mr. Kiefer. What an a-hole. Wow, what a prick. I can't stop laughing at how immature and ridiculous this is. I don't know why it's so funny, but I can just picture it, some grown-ass man playing a dumb trick to get a bunch of kids in trouble. We never had a school camp, because the last time they held one, 3 students got pregnant. That's some effing camp. End of senior year, some kid was caught on video having sex with his freshman girlfriend in an abandoned stairwell. Everyone saw the video and talked about it for weeks. I think he was charged with sexual assault and was not able to graduate. Similar incident at my school. Teacher went through a kid's phone and found naked pics of his girlfriend. He was 18 and she was 15, cops got involved. They made him register as a sex offender. He killed himself 2 years after it. Funny enough, few years later the teacher got busted cause he saved all the pics from the phone. A football player with the last name Parham got punished for some shit and was no longer allowed to walk the stage for graduation. One day, a friend of his pulled up in a truck outside of the cafeteria during lunch, slammed on the brakes, jumped out, and proceeded to sprint inside. He streaked through half the cafeteria with a Spider-Man mask on and "Free Parham" painted on his bare ass. Staff tried to grab him and stop him, and despite him literally slipping on a piece of food and falling, he escaped valiantly. As any hero should. Eventually, Parham was once again allowed to walk the stage, although I'm sure the stunt wasn't the only reason for it. Ours was a sad one. Our boys' basketball team was traveling home from a game in inclement weather. The van caught some slush and lost control into the path of an oncoming tractor trailer. The coach was driving and survived. He lost his wife and 7 students. A very sad tragedy. Oh man. One time this kid I was friends with brought this hot sauce called Da Bomb, 1.5 million Scoville units, hotter than hell, to high school and let a bunch of kids try it during lunch. I mean at least 30 kids. Some kids really started freaking out because that shit is ridiculously hot, like you're supposed to add 1 or 2 drops to a big batch of chili to make it spicy. Some were trying to show off and took a swig of it and ended up vomiting everywhere from the heat panic. Multiple kids had to go to the nurse and be sent home because they way overdid it, although I think most just really had no idea what a Scoville unit was, or that they made hot sauce that was that ridiculously hot. It was chaos. I tried it as well, a dime-size amount, and I couldn't concentrate on anything but chugging milk. And I'm really good with spicy foods. Finally the principal came on the intercom and said, "Whoever brought the hot sauce please, just stop." My friend got into some pretty big trouble for that one. That's the principal's sound of defeat. Some boys in the saxophone section of marching band made a Christmas card featuring them nude except for Santa hats and their sacks covering their sacks. They distributed to the whole band, which at our school was a pretty large number of people. School tried to confiscate them for being lewd, but of course they couldn't get them all. Besides, people had camera phones and Facebook. Of course it was the saxophones, it's always the saxophones that do this stuff. A guy went into the locker room during gym class and shit into another guy's backpack. Edit, since so many people asked, this happened in a German school in 2014 or 2015. The guy didn't face any consequences, although almost everyone knew who did it. Our principal pretty much was like, "Yeah, let's not talk about this." The story also spread like a wildfire in our town, and I had friends from different schools text me about it before I even came home that day. Not high school, but I remember in elementary school, we got put on lockdown because someone thought there was a rabid fox on the field. It was a fat orange cat. Mondays, huh? There had been rumors since my freshman year about the assistant principal taking a certain special interest in a few of the girls. Almost everyone wrote it off as high school kids starting stupid rumors. Until my senior year, when 4 police officers came in after school and walked him out in cuffs in front of a few hundred students watching a basketball game against another school. He was fucking one of the girls in my grade and selling her oxycodone in the hallways. Got 10 years. Senior year we received our yearbooks the week of graduation, and to our surprise the full-page action shot for men's soccer showcased our player jumping up and lifting one leg to trap and control the ball. Unfortunately, he forgot to wear underwear that game and the tip of his wiener was fully visible sticking out of the bottom of his shorts. Our school had over 4,000 students and we were required to bring our yearbook into security to have the dick sharpied over or we would not be able to walk at graduation. The image of school admins having to sharpie in the same penis 4,000 times is gold. Someone called in a bomb threat to my middle school and elementary school. Instead of evacuating both buildings we were in lockdown for 3 hours and they condensed all of us in the middle school. We later evacuated to the high school only like 300 feet away and were stuck there for hours because our parents couldn't get to us. All of our phones were taken because they didn't want us giving information, so there were like 700 white moms in Suburbans simultaneously having a heart attack trying to get to the school. We learned later they called this into almost every school in the area. There was a robbery at a Bank of America while the cops were preoccupied. Classic payday gang. At my high school, seniors had to do a senior project. Can be anything really. Just plan it out and follow through. A very popular and well-liked senior made an end-of-day announcement that tomorrow morning he'd be in the student parking lot working on it and needs as many other folks there as possible. The next day he drives into the student parking lot, set up a tripod and a camera. A large crowd gathered round, just about 30 minutes before the first bell. He hit record, thanks everyone for showing. Then he reached into his car, pulled out a handgun and killed himself before anyone could react. No one knows why. He was a great guy with a bright future. Never know what struggles others are going through. I think about it frequently and take that into consideration to try and be nice to others with random acts of kindness.